Zel Boy Army, what is going on? It's your boy Zelonius and my man Ainsley. We're here today with yet another spicy video, the Dynamic Tactics tutorial. I'll start by saying this is not a definitive guide to them. The game's not fully out yet, so I've only been able to experiment a bit on the beta and demo with them, but I feel like I've got a pretty good understanding of them, how they play. Can give you some advice, feedback, but probably in a month's time I'll give like a full-on proper guide, definitive guide to Dynamic Tactics. But I'll explain what I already know of them, let you know what I think, help you out. So boys, one of the things to note this year is custom tactics have been completely changed to the Dynamic Tactics. You can see here, you can switch between Ultra D, defensive, you can have balanced, attacking and ultra attacking. This means now you will not have to pause your team and swap at the start of every game players out. For this, you can do ultra defensive. You can mess around with the formation you want for ultra defensive. So you could do the new 5-4-1. That would be very good for defensive. And you can, for each formation, pick the role you want to be. So you can swap them out. Then on ultra attacking, you can go. Where's 4-2-4? The new 4-2-4, the really attacking one. There you go. So for the ultra attacking one, you can go the 4-2-4 and pick all the positions. So this means in game you can switch from ultra D all the way to ultra attacking with the new Dynamic Tactics. You have to pause the game and players will be put into the position that you've set before the game. On kickoff mode, you're probably not going to want to spend loads of time picking this for 5 different formations. But on Ultimate Team, where you're going to be using the same players for a long time, you can tweak and fine-tune these and get a real good idea for your team that switch all the way from Ultra D to attacking that you need in different games. And it means you don't have to pause it every single time. It's just literally move the arrow, change to balance to attacking, and it could change formation. You could keep the same formation and just change tactics. Probably the most important bit of it is this section here, the actual tactics. So we've got 3 parts of the defense. You go all the way from drop back, which in a 5-4-1, if you put it with the lowest depth, would probably be pretty much park the bus. If you went like very narrow, lowest depth, 5-4-1 drop back, that'd be a really, really defensive tactic. So as it says there, drop back. This tactic will preserve your team's shape and will offer your opponents more possession. Your striker will stay passive and you may find yourself having less attacking options on your win ball. This one's to put your team in like a really compact position. You just defend in the lead, you give them more time on the ball, but when they get near your box you've got a lot of men there, it's going to be hard for them to create goal score opportunities. This one I cannot see people using other than to hold on to a lead. Balanced, as you can imagine, fairly balanced defence. Balanced style where your team presses the ball to the middle of the pitch and your team shape is neutral. Pressure on heavy touch, pretty simple. Press after possession loss, this is the Guardiola concept of football. After your team loses possession of the ball, your teammates will press the ball for approximately 7 seconds. This will affect player fatigue and your players could be out of position if you don't win it back during this time. So, with these also the width and depth you'll need to change. The width here, I don't really get why you'd ever have it as long as that. I think you'll be fairly balanced or very narrow. Crossing generally doesn't seem too amazing on FIFA, so I'd probably be going for the lower to middle ones. And depth, the higher up the pitch your team is, the easier it is to press. So if you're on constant pressure and very high depth, you're going to be putting a lot of pressure onto your team. But if you're not very careful, you're going to leave lots of gaps. So the constant pressure with the highest depth is probably going to be one that you're only going to use when you really need a goal late on and need to press, but it's very high risk, but going for the reward. The width, I think you'll generally want to keep on a fairly neutral one, but the depth, it'll generally be tuned to depending on how the game is. So on ultra attacking, you might have it on the highest. Attacking might be like that. Balanced might be that. Defensive that. Ultra defensive, the lowest or second lowest, I don't know. Depends how aggressive a defender you are, how high up pitch you want to press. The pressing genuinely is a lot better this year than FIFA 18, but as I've said, you'll leave gaps if you press with the highest and you're not very good, or even if your opponent's just good at moving the ball quickly, it's going to be very risky. Okay, the offensive style. Got a variety here. Possession, balance, long ball, fast build up. They're all fairly obvious what they do. The quick, fast build-up and possession are probably going to be the two most common. Balanced will probably be used by some people. Long ball, I don't know. Maybe the long ball is what you want for counter-attack. It says this team will make runs for long balls into space behind the opposing back line or up to a target. Strikers who are fast with good attacking positioning attribute at the best of this tactic. So if you've got a really good counter-attacking team with good movement and you're sitting deep, you might want this on your ultra D so you can counter-attack. That almost seems like the counter-attack. Fast build-up. Pushes players forward for a faster build-up, but if you lose possession of the ball, you can find yourself open to counter. This might be really good on a high-pressure tactic where you want to get the ball quick, push up really fast, and catch your opponent like blitz them by surprise. Possession, it's fairly obvious. Short passing game, slow the game down a bit, dominate the tempo of the game, keep the ball, frustrate your opponent. Balanced is just for an all-round approach. The width, this one a little bit more than maybe some of the other options. This one here, if you have wide players like a 4-3-3 or 4-1-2-1-2 with the wide 4-4-2, you might want to go a bit wider. This will give you a bit more chance to stretch teams down the wings, but this will be very varying on how good crossing is. Players in the box, I mean, players in the box, you're generally going to want quite a few, but you don't want to be too many. You don't want a situation when you've got everyone in the box and barely anyone back that can just counter attack on you. But again, if you're an ultra attack and need to go late on, you're going to put a lot of men in the box. Corners, I don't think I'll ever go above 4, maybe even 3. Corners, as long as you've got a couple of men in the box, you don't really need that many, and you really don't want to get counter attacked. Getting counter attacks on corners is very easy to happen on FIFA. Probably the same for free kicks. So you can see, a lot of these different dynamic tactics, they'll be based on what's happening in the current situation of the game, but also some of them just seem to work better than others in terms of with each other. So constant pressure, you're going to want to be pushed up. You can't really play constant pressure sat as deep as possible. There'll be lots of guides from different pros. I'll be putting guides for different formations and with that some different dynamic tactics. And like I said, I'll do a definitive guide in a month's time when I've really got a chance to use them. Furthermore, there's a few more options on the instructions. So the fullbacks are the same there, but you can see here we've got inverted runs and overlap. For midfielders, I think it's a bit different. What is it? Yeah, you could cover centre or cover wing. The strikers, is there anything different? I don't think so. No, is there anything different on the wingers? Well, there's not much different on that. But as you can see there, boys, there's a few different formations which you can experiment with. These tactics are very important. I think they do make a real difference in game now when you use them. But on top of that, you've got a few more instructions. But just tinker with these, see what works for you. But make sure you've got different game plans that you can stick to. You can see there, there's lots of different ones. Make sure you've got a different style. You've got ways of rescuing the game when you need it. So boys, if there's any questions about this video, let me know. Please smash the like button if you enjoyed this video. More FIFA 19 spicy content coming your way. Hope you enjoyed this video. So close to launch, boys. Just 2 days away. Keep it spicy. Have a good night.